Good morning everybody, and this is your DAX setups for today. Now on the 8 hour, if I just zoom out a little bit, we're basically going sideways. I mean, if you go to the daily, you're going to see channels deluxe. This is actually a big megaphone that's formed, but a big, not an engulfing bar, not an inside bar, nothing like that, but we do have a crossover the moving averages, so that is bullish. And then when we look at the 8 hour, we in amongst the moving averages again, but the oscillators are pretty bullish at the moment. So don't really see anything on the 8 hour that is screaming long or short. There is structure, and I'll give them to you now. Let's just do one more here. Okay, so we are bouncing our head off 18,470, which is the only bit of structure that we do have ahead of us. So there is one more ahead of us. Yeah, so we do have this little area here at 18,518. So let's just call it 18,500, which seems to be what price is holding on to now. Look at the moving averages. They are starting to turn to the upside, but they're still bearish. And the 150 is flat, which doesn't indicate anything to us apart from the fact that we are sideways. And if you look back, you can see that's pretty much what we're doing. Now, nothing on diversions here. And when we start going through the time frames, you'll see from a 3-hour perspective, above the moving averages, but look at my oscillators. They've separated and they're starting to roll. And you've seen this pattern so often. Big moves up, channel, and then the channel breaks, and then we come back to find some support. Now, from a 3-hour perspective, there are multiple areas that you would possibly find support. We're at one at the moment, and that is 18,469. Then we have 18,417, 18,400, 18,360, 18,340. Those are all the areas that we could find ourselves coming back to. Now, the next thing that I would very much pay attention to is the original trend line. So the first two fractals typically form the trend, and you can see how that all intersects there. So there are quite a few sellers waiting here who are expecting this thing to fall from this area. Look at my oscillators all lining up. The only thing against a short for me at the moment on the hour is the fact that we are above the 150 EMA. Now, my view at the moment is this is a strong zone of resistance. So I would expect us to pull back. But if you just look left, you can see there's quite a bit of structure that could possibly affect price. And the big one for me is at 18,417, 18,400. That is the big one for me. And I would expect us to come back, find some support to move up. Now, this was a solid day yesterday, but bear in mind the higher time frames are kind of bearish, more bearish than bullish. So there's also a strong possibility that you just drop all the way down to the bottom to close these gaps, and so you have a big up, big down type scenario, which wouldn't surprise me. But we do have a number of earnings coming out today, so I have a feeling, and this is just a feeling, no science behind this, but I have a feeling we are going to find support on one of these two levels. We're then going to bump ahead on this trend line again, pull back, bump ahead on the trend line, pull back. So we're going to sort of form a flat bottomed triangle. And then if we do get some kind of a surprise or some kind of a positive vibe coming out of anywhere, then it's going to be a break of that triangle, pull back, form a range, and then we'll have a second move up from here. But I think for now we're probably looking at a bit of sideways price action today. And if you look at the 15-minute, you can see that's pulling back already. I won't read too much into that because that is pre-market, and yesterday was a solid day, but it was a solid day with multiple gaps. So you've got the weekly gap open, you've got a 15-minute gap. Right, I'm not going to read all the levels because there's hundreds of little gaps, but you can see here around 18,180 is a gap. There's another one here at 18,222. There's another little one here. There's another little one there. There's another little one there. There's one here. There's one there. There's one there. You get my drift. There is a lot, or there are a lot of gaps. I think this is actually one as well. No, that's not one. So there are multiple 50-minute gaps all the way down. So anything can happen right now. This is not structured enough. So it's a strong possibility that you can go all the way back down again. I wouldn't be too surprised about that. So I think for me, with the earnings that are coming out today, which are big market cap earnings, I think I'd rather just wait and see what's going to happen before picking a direction. The only thing that's going to really get me positive is a break and retest of 18,500. So get a break above that, come back, retest that successfully and start turning up. That's my opportunity for a long. Until that happens, even with this move of yesterday, I think I will be a little bit more cautious and just wait to see what happens lower down. V reversals are also very rare. So if you start finding support at 18,400 or 18,360, even as much as 18,344, there's an opportunity for a smallish long in this area as well. But just pay attention to these moving averages on the hour, because if you start flying below the moving averages, I just leave it alone. But if you come onto specifically this one, 18,400, because that'll be a retest of the 150 EMA, and that's successful, then there's definitely an opportunity. But you're going to bump your head on this diagonal as well, so you'll probably bump your head here at 18,470 again. So that's why I say any move above 18,500 and a pullback and a retest, that's my opportunity for long setups. Until then, we just wait and see what happens lower down. If it does form, then it's well worth taking it. But if we do drop below the moving averages, then I am sitting on my hands and we'll wait for better opportunities. Anyway, hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.